Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching us from or the time you get to watch this as well. Welcome once again to Reading Room, the place where books meet life and words spark transformation. Right here on this show, we introduce you to books you must own and read. Reading Room is a program whether you're a child, student, or an adult. The books we share here will help you build a richer vocabulary and a healthier mind. My name is Lillian Ezinwa, and I'm truly excited to have you with us today. So it won't be out of place to actually say Happy New Year to you once again. Now, last week, we had the first episode for the new year 2026, and on that particular episode, we explored a powerful and timely theme, and that is New Year, New Mindsets, and how reading shapes our future. And on that day, we established so many things. And one of the things that were established on that particular episode is that reading is not just a hobby. For some people, they think it's a hobby for them. But we're saying it's not just a hobby. It's not just something we do to pass time. Reading is a mindset shaper. So what you read feeds your mind, and what feeds your mind shapes your thinking. And how you think ultimately determines how you live. So today we'll be taking this conversation one step deeper, and we'll make it more practical. Our topic today is using books to redefine your life this year. I'll say it again. Using books to redefine your life this year. Because it's one thing to think differently, but it's another thing entirely to live differently. Okay, you heard me? I said it's one thing to think differently, but it's another thing entirely to live differently. And to help us unravel, I think this is a mystery, right? So to help us delve into this very important topic, I'm joined by an amazing guest. She is an organizational strategist, a tutor, an event planner, an ardent reader and writer, and also she's a scholar with deep love for learning and growth. And interestingly, she studied history and international relations and is currently studying psychology, which gives her a unique blend of understanding human behavior, identity, and purpose. So please, I would have said with a standing or round of applause, join me in welcoming Abundance Amarachi, right?
Yes.
Iwoha Ezanya.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
She's popularly known as Bounty. So Bounty, you're welcome to Reading Room today.
Hi. Thank you, Miss Lillian.
So how you doing?
I'm doing very well, Miss
Okay. So like you listened from the introduction that I gave,
Okay.
we spoke about how reading shapes our mindsets and influences our future. So today we're focusing on how books can actually help us redefine our lives.
Okay.
So but before we dive into that, I want to ask you, what does reading mean to you? Let's start with that. What does reading mean to you?
You know, most times when we talk about reading, everyone would directly think that we are talking about books only. Okay? On daily basis, as human beings, we read. When you read things written on the wall, in a paper, anywhere you are reading. Okay? And step by step, gradually you are adding something to your well of knowledge. Okay? So reading doesn't have to do with when you read a book or when you grasp through the pages of any paper or anything. Reading happens everywhere and at every time. Okay? So reading practically is something that we do on daily basis to get better, to improve our knowledge, okay? To be well-balanced members of the society, to be well-informed. That is the main basic aspect of reading, the most important aspect of reading. So reading has come to stay. And whether you like it or not, reading is here, and we are enjoying the benefits of reading. Thank you, Mr.
Okay. You know, I've heard people say they read only for exams.
Okay.
So after that, they are done.
Okay.
So do you share that same perspective that the only time you should read is only if you have an exam?
No.
So you don't just sit and say you want to read?
No, I don't share that idea at all.
Okay.
Okay. Now, personally as an individual, okay, or let us speak from the student aspect now. When you go to school, you attend your lectures on daily basis. You go with your materials, your reading material and everything. You don't just sit and wait till when the exam time is close, so you start reading. Okay? Reading should be done even before that time. Okay, now this gives you the leverage, the opportunity to balance your understanding. Okay? Now, when any course or subject is being taught, or when you are going through the process of learning any course or subject, you need to take your time. Okay? Now, you go through it when you are comfortable.
Okay.
In your comfort period. When there is no stress attached, no exam pressure or test pressure or anything, you're just reading to understand. Okay? Now, when you read to understand, it balances, it makes you balanced. In the sense that anytime you see anything that comes from that aspect academically now, okay, you can easily handle it, you can easily tackle it anytime, any day. Okay? But then when you simply read to pass an exam, that is what puts you under pressure. Because what you are doing that period, you are simply cramming things. Cramming, which doesn't really add much to your mental ability or your knowledge. Okay? But then you read to understand. I'm talking now for students. The better way to read is read to understand, digest the information. Okay? So it becomes a part of you somehow.
So even after the exam, you still have it?
Of course. There are lots of things we know now that we read years back. Okay? That's just it. So the beauty of reading is you do it even when there is no test or exam approaching. You can do it anytime, anywhere, anyhow.
Okay, so from your experience as a reader, writer, and scholar, so how do books actually move someone from just thinking differently to actually living differently?
Okay. When you read, there is something that happens in your mindset. Okay? Now, for instance, I recently discovered that Norman Vincent, okay, died exactly the year I was born. Now, that awareness or that knowledge actually made me conscious of. So I was like, wow, I've been reading this man's books for some time now, okay? Not knowing that he died years, but actually the year I was born, actually. Okay, now, the knowledge that he has passed on to us through his books and everything has somehow helped us to shape our lives. Okay? Now you can imagine a man who is dead but not forgotten through his works, because we read his works. Okay? Now reading does something to you as a person. No one should force you to read if you actually understand the benefits of reading. No one should force you to read. You read to be better, to get better. Okay? You read to just like our listener said, to redefine yourself. Okay? Possibly before we talk of redefining something, there has been a definition before a redefining. Okay? So the public may have given you a different name or may view you in a different light. But then reading can help you to redefine
what the
public believes or thinks that you are. More so when you now exhibit and showcase those things that you have gotten from what you read. The understanding and the knowledge you have gotten from the books you read. Okay? Because take it or leave it, every book you read transforms your life in ways that we cannot actually discuss within few minutes. That's the fact. So reading is very wonderful and it helps us to shape our lives.
You know, you talked about books. So are there books that does not actually do these things that you've said? Are there books that you would say, okay, see, at this age, you're not supposed to read this book, but maybe when you get older, you can read this particular book? Because why I'm saying this, I remember growing up, we grew up to M&B, we grew up to some kind of books, arts, detective novels and all that. And I remember that these books that I grew up seeing were books that my parents actually read when they were older. But at that age, let's say 15, I started reading it. And they were detective books, right? I can't actually remember the title, but that's what I'm asking. Do you think there are books that at this stage, for people that are growing, maybe you say, okay, don't read this book now. When you get to a particular age, you can read?
Now, I will choose to answer this question in this way, okay? Now, let's not put any limitation on anybody's mind. Okay?
Okay.
Let's not put, because telling you don't read these books, don't do this now, don't do it now.
Will create that
Knowledge, of
curiosity.
course, no knowledge is a waste. Okay? Although there are still ways to handle these things to guide you on the ones you should read at certain time, okay? And the ones that are not really all that important to you. But then when you tell your child, no, don't read this, automatically you are putting a limitation on their mind. They'll be like, why can't I read this? Don't read. No knowledge is a waste. More so, we don't have to discredit anybody's work. Okay? No matter how bad a thing is, there are still some elements of good in it. Okay? Even though the books, you may not really find information that you need now. Okay? Those things you read, for instance, you made mention of reading books that your parents read when they were much older, at a younger age, right? Now, there are things you read and you got from that book that somehow has shaped you into who you are today. That is the fact. Okay? There are things you picked from that book that has helped you. Information gets stored in the mind. So, anytime you have the opportunity, once there is the opportunity, time, try and read anything you can read, as much as you can. No knowledge is a waste. That's the fact.
So how does reading go beyond inspiration and begin to affect real life decisions, habits, and identity?
Okay. Now, you read, you study to acquire knowledge. This knowledge is now what does that work in us. The impact we make as human beings, as individuals, comes from the knowledge we gather from different sources. Okay? Now, reading, in a way, come on, take the question again.
I said, how does reading go beyond inspiration and begin to affect real life decisions, habits, and identity? Okay.
Now, there is what we call decision making and judgment making in psychology. Okay? This helps you to, the knowledge you get helps you to form your decisions, okay? And to make judgments that are not biased in any way. Because you have experiences from the books you read. The books expose us to so many things. So we don't have to have a first-hand experience to know or to be aware or to be informed. Books help us to do these things, okay? So when you read different kind of books, educative books, they're wonderful books, exactly. They're wonderful books, okay? When you read these books, they educate your mind, okay? And they help you, they shift you from just being inspired. From just being inspired to making decisions and judgments which are not biased in any way. Judgments which are not really affected by mere feelings or by mere emotions, okay? Not judgments that are well balanced, informed decisions, and well-informed judgments.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so I've heard people say that repeated exposure to ideas, just like you actually said something like that when you started. It actually influences belief systems. So when someone consistently read books, they challenge limiting beliefs, they promote self-awareness, or tell stories of resilience and growth. So basically, the reader begins to internalize those values. So do you think this is true, and why?
Of course, that's very true. Reading takes you out of your immediate environment, okay? It takes you out of here and transports you to millions of miles away from you, okay? Now, culture is believed to be a people's way of life, but reading has made it possible for us to move away from our culture, to begin to understand other people's culture and their own way of life, okay? So when you read a book, it does a lot of work in you. It moves you from your immediate environment, both physically and mentally, okay? When we talk of physically and mentally, you begin to see yourself in a different light. For instance, most people that do read, what is it called? Love stories and, what is it called again? Novels. Some people that do read love novels and the rest of them. Somehow it paints a picture
of what love
is. Although most times it may not really be all true, but then somehow it kind of gives you a different feel of this thing called love, which to a large extent forms you as an individual. Okay? For people who are not really, who don't have that soft spot These things can help them, okay, to form that soft spot and begin to understand love in a different light. For people who come from maybe a violent home, they can begin to see love in a different aspect. Okay, this is what fiction helps to achieve in the life of growing children, even adults too. Okay, fiction helps us to create some images in our minds. They may not really be 100% accurate or true, but somehow these things that we read, they shape us.
Okay, I've heard people say that reading is boring.
Okay.
I've heard people say that for some people, they say they want to cultivate this habit of reading,
Okay.
but they don't know what to do.
All right.
And I know there are a lot of people who are watching us right now, and they'll be like, oh, I want to sound right. I want to know how to read, like read very well, not just read because maybe I'm mandated to do that. So what would be your advice to them? And are there things they're supposed to do to actually bring up that reading culture in them?
Okay. I've had the opportunity of talking with some youths, okay, basically Nigerians, okay, and most of them, their major challenge when it comes to reading is when they hear someone say that they read for hours. You don't have to be a bookworm. Just read. Try as much as you can. 10 minutes is good. 15 minutes is good. 5 minutes is something. Okay? Try as much as you can on a daily basis to read. Read something, anything. Most of us have the access to smartphones and all. You don't have to like go through pictures and no. Try and read. And these days there is this thing I've noticed. When you come to chats, the normal social media chats and everything, most people tend to make use of voice notes more. Have you observed that?
Yes, I have.
Okay. They make use of voice notes more, which to an extent, personally, it's somehow irritating. Okay. When you type, typing helps you. As you're typing, you're reading. You know, I mentioned earlier that reading doesn't have to be when you're just going through a book or whatever. You can read anything and many things. There are many things to read. Okay. When you scroll through your phone, there are lots of things you can read. Lots of things that may not be related to you as a person. Okay. But reading through helps you. In the aspect of building our vocabulary, these things help us. I, for one, if I'm chatting with someone, okay, and they make use of a new word, automatically I go off and switch over to my dictionary and find out that new word. It's a must. I do it. These things help us. These things shape us. Okay? Now, my advice for someone who thinks that reading is boring in any way, don't read under pressure. We are all unique in our own ways. We are all different in our own ways. Don't read like Mr. A or Mr. B. Find those things that interest you as a person. Okay? Start from there. Don't just concentrate on reading academic books only. There are lots of other books that can, that can interest you. Lots of other things that can help you as an individual. The general aspect, the general focus of everything is being a better member of the society. Let's not forget that. Okay? Because when you become good as an individual, you are somehow making a contribution to our society and to our immediate community. Okay? Now, read, and don't just read when you're under pressure. Like we mentioned earlier, don't just read because you have a test approaching or an exam approaching. Read, even in your comfort time, when you're in your leisure time. There are lots of us use books to relieve ourselves of stress. Okay? Just find that kind of the book that has the theme that you need for that time. 10 minutes is good. 15 minutes is fine. 20 minutes is good. Start from somewhere.
Okay, start from somewhere.
Start from somewhere.
You know, you mentioned reader and then you mentioned smartphone. And if you look at it, a lot of use,
Okay.
our smartphone is our go-to.
Okay.
So would you advise them to go for hard copy or to read what's inside their phone?
Both. A mixture of both makes you a balanced individual. Okay? For instance, okay, there are lots of books or things that even though I may access them online, ebooks and the rest of it, I still prefer having my hard copy. You get different feelings and different things from, I know the information's content in them might still be the same thing, but not there are different feelings to these things. Okay? So a mixture of both is very wonderful to make you a balanced individual. Don't just depend on hard books, fine. Don't just depend on what you can access on. But per time, anyone you can access. If it's just your phone that you can access, possibly you can't get the hard copy, or you cannot buy. Most of us, it's a challenge to actually purchase the hard copy. So anyone you can purchase per time, as long as you are adding something to your mental makeup and mental build-up, okay? As long as you're building your mind positively, still read something.
Okay.
All right? Read something.
Okay, so let's actually make this practical, so that for everyone who is watching right now and they want this year to be different for them.
All right.
When it comes to reading, it's not something they do, but they want this year. See, this 2026, one of their New Year resolution is, I want to read more.
Okay.
I want to change my mindset by reading. Okay. So they want everything to change for them, both in character, mindsets, relationships, and direction. Okay. So how should they use book differently? How should they read intentionally without getting bored, without getting to that state where you say, this person is a bookworm and all that? So what should they do differently?
Now, when you make mention of getting to the point of someone being addressed as a bookworm, it sounds as if being a bookworm is something awkward. Is it really awkward?
It's not awkward, but you know, back then they called them a feeway. That's people that anywhere you see them, they will book. Okay. When you say one thing, they will check their book. Okay, you say you mean there are people like that.
Yes, there are. Okay, now they are that way simply because they have cultivated that habit. It's now a part of them. Okay. I recently observed something. When you structure your life, when you plan your life, when there is a timeline, something that you're following, okay? Even when you think you don't have time, you can still do these things. As long as there is a structure, okay? And there's a daily timeline that you're following, okay? Personally, I may get too busy with this and that, but once it's time for me to do that reading, I know it's time.
So do you have a particular time? Let's say in the day, you know, by 2 p.m. you need to go and read. Okay. Is it structured that way?
No. Let's just put it this way. As I'm going on with my normal day, I read. I find book somehow interesting. Not really somehow, they are interesting. So I read almost all through. Okay? But then again, I can dedicate my time. There is not a time I dedicate
for reading.
Despite the ones I might have done throughout the day and everything, I can't really see a book and then just walk past it. It's not possible. I may not really read everything. I will just go through it. You know, when you're browsing through a book, you're not really getting all the information, but then you are browsing through it just to get the basics. Okay? So that's it. Reading shouldn't really be boring to anyone. It shouldn't be. Because even the text message, if I send you a text message right now, what will you do to it?
I'll read it.
Definitely. You will read the text message, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If I tell you, Miss Lillian, please send your account details, how will you understand that thing that I just sent?
I would understand. You're talking about account details, yeah.
You understand?
Yes, I will send it.
Definitely you've read it, right?
Yes.
So that same time it takes you to read all those things, okay? You can still dedicate.
But you know, reading an information about account details is quite different from reading a full message.
No, it's still a message, still an information that has been passed across. When you're reading, you're simply trying to understand a specific kind of information that is being passed to you. As long as you're opening that book or that page or whatever, you want to get that information. If a book is here right now and you don't open it, the information is there, waiting for whoever that will open it up to do what? To read it. If I send you a message, definitely you will read it. All these things are reading. Okay? Your mind is trying to understand the information that has been communicated.
Exactly.
So when you're reading, you are trying to understand an information that a writer is trying to communicate to you as long as you open the book. Because if the book is not opened, if you don't open the book, the information will be there until you do what? You open it up. Okay?
Okay.
So as much as you can, generally, as much as you can, try as much as you can. There are books in our homes that we've not opened in years. Find something that interests you. Okay? Now, I once told a friend, Okay, that I am this kind of person who likes reading books printed in a different kind of paper. The person will definitely laugh right now, I know. Okay, because he's watching. Now, I told the friend that I am the kind of person that likes reading books that are printed in a different kind of paper. I don't know if you've noticed it before. Books that are printed in white paper. Have you observed it before?
I need to
White
start
paper
observing.
printing and colored paper printing. No, off-white printing. Have you observed it before?
Yes, I have.
Okay, now, I've discovered over time that reading things that are typed in a white paper does not really interest me that much. If you check, most of my books are, unless I can read them if they are academic books that I must read. Yes.
Okay.
But if there are things I just want to read on my own, just to have to read and to be informed on my own, I would prefer those books that are typed
on white,
off-white colored papers. Okay? So we are all individuals with our different makeups. So find that thing that suits you. Okay? And these are the things that will encourage your reading habits.
Okay.
So that's just it. Know what suits you as a person. Go for it. Sorry.
You know, the theme for today says using books to redefine your life this year. So for people who are watching, what kind of books should they focus on? And how should they approach reading this year? I need you to just be specific. Like, if possible, you want to mention, do this. I think it will be better. So what kind of books for first timers now, for people who are just, they've been reading all the other years, but this year they've listened and they're like, I want to form it as a habit. So what kind of books should they focus on? And how should they approach reading this year? So it truly helps redefine their life.
Now, for someone who is just starting out, let's not think or talk about academic books now. Because these are special kind of books dealing with different special kind of courses. Now, the self-help corner of any bookshop or book center should be your best friend. And I've come to discover that books in the self-help corner of any book center, they are not really that expensive, because most of them they will tell you these books are the hard copies are expensive and the rest of them. So you can actually, visit the self-help corner of any book center. There are lots of things you can read from there, lots of books you can pick from there. For someone who is just starting to read or to dive into the habit or the culture of reading to redefine their lives, self-help books, as the name implies, they are what? Self-help. They will help you in so many ways than one. So focus on self-help books. But as you go into reading properly, try and visit other areas. Don't fix your gaze on just self-help. There are lots of other things you can read. Just as self-help books are very simple and direct, dealing with direct things, every day-to-day lives and activities, life values, etiquettes, and the rest of them. These things will help to form you, to shape your life. That when you come out, the difference will be seen. There are books that have helped me. The difference will be seen definitely. When you speak, even when you are simply throwing a joke, there are jokes and there are jokes. Even when you're simply being a casual friend, there is still a difference in your approach from someone else's approach based on the fact that you have been exposed to a different kind of lifestyle and culture through reading.
All right, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
This has actually been truly insightful and enriching. And I know every person who will come across this video would actually learn one or two from what you've said. So we really do appreciate you. And as we round up today's episode of Reading Room, I need us to remember this. Last week, we actually learned that reading shapes our mindset. And today, coming from Bounty, intentional reading can redefine your life. So you need to program yourself, ask yourself, what am I going to achieve this year? Is it reading? And she said you can read self-help books. It's important that you read self-help books. Start from there. So this year, it will be a very, very mind-blowing year for you once you start this. And this year will not change by chance. it will change by choice.
Okay.
So the choice is yours.
All right.
And one of the most powerful choices you can make is choosing the right books and reading them with purpose. So choosing the right books starts by reading self-help books for first-timers. Then if you're already a reader, you're already in the process now. So continue doing what you're doing and read more. So my name is Lillian Ezinwa, and this has been Reading Room. But if you're watching and you would love for us to come set up a library in your school, in your house, in your community, just call this number 0803 714 5231. 0803 714 5231. Until next time, read with purpose, grow with intention, and let books redefine your life. Thank you.